Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode. Yeah, I woke up a little pretty late. Had some crazy dreams about just school. I had there was a part where I was on some sort of SpongeBob video game being chased by like a lion, and it was like hosted by Berlizzi or something like that, and I also had a dream where it's like these kids went to this house. It was kind of like a Stranger Things vibe, and like they just got swallowed by the house or something. But yeah, this is the next episode, and I kind of lost the preset for like the FL Studio project, so I kind of had to start a new one. So if you hear obsessive noise, then that's my bad. So I really wanted to start off by talking about, because I really want this podcast to be about, my autism and just my life in general. Talking about stuff like that, maybe to help some people out. Which is pretty funny because I'm in a rut, and maybe, I don't know, like if I'm leading the blind or something like that. You know what I mean? But I never had somebody at my level or just in my life, because I am the only person that's me, so why not talk about it? I do want to make this kind of quick because I do have other stuff to work on, but the one thing that I did want to talk about was autism and the workforce, kind of, at least from my experience. A lot of people have passions and dreams, and it sounds cheesy, but it's true. And some people don't trust your work ethic. I don't really say much about things that I do. Like I said, I do have like hundreds of folders, that like 125, 150 folders that are based on like my things that I looked up, career interests, stuff like that, and trying to find a job for each of those. And some people, just some people don't realize what I do behind the scenes. They just look at me as a guy that just sleeps and is on a computer all day. They know I'm doing something, but they don't really know the value of it. I think they know I'm doing something. They just don't know the value of what I'm doing. And, I always get recommended jobs to work. And I understand that people are trying to help me, but right now no one's helping me of the skills and occupations that I'm willing to do. And that's the thing, I can do hundreds of things. And from my experience working at a job that requires you to have no career background, they treat you like a machine, and they don't treat you human. And when I try to talk to people about this, they understand how I am, but they assume my limits. And the limits that I have, I understand no job's gonna be perfect, but I foresee the future. And if I know that the future is gonna be a repetition of just BS and no management, all that sort of stuff, then people don't deserve my time there. And I I understand that people are trying to help me, and I'm not grateful for that. But it's just that, when you're working things out and you see a lot of stuff that, the job industry is doing to people, like how jobs are just dropping people out of nowhere. They're forcing people to work, like, because we just went through a pandemic, and I realized that this is the worst time period to get a physical job, because they're forcing people to work late and they're dropping people for no reason. And I don't want to set myself up losing the job that I work hard for, or for them to treat me any sort of way, extending my hours and not paying me extra, because that's what the last job has done. And what I realize about people when it comes down to this is that people have vouched for me for the longest time, and when it comes down to something like this, they vouch more for the job side than me. And the thing that I think about is that if a job is so bad that you have to deal with it in order to survive, everything that they do, why should I vouch for that? If I know I have talent, if I know I have the resources to build up my own platform, why should I work for somebody else if it's not gonna be long term? I'd rather do what I'm doing for another 10 years than bounce from 50 jobs in the span of 10. Getting a new job every 3 months. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's a waste of time. I want to work. Don't get me wrong, I want to work. I want to have my own. I want to provide for my family. But when I want to do it my way, there's a lot of trust issues going to that because of my limits, my mental disability, and my energy, and the mental things that I go through every day that halts me from completing a task. But going to the workforce, a 9-to-5 job is okay. I'm not telling you that a 9-to-5 job is not okay. It's completely fine. But if it's not for you and it's not for me, then it's completely okay to say that. It's because some people don't understand the opportunities that are in life, and just because they didn't see those opportunities, they want to put that on the others. Instead of giving me a new experience, I have to be like everyone else. Because I've been compared a lot of my life to other kids and stuff like that. Before I fully knew that I was autistic, I was always compared to other kids. Now I'm being compared to other adults. My life is different from them, and I want a life different for them. I don't want to work the same thing they're doing. I don't want to have the same problems that they're doing. I'm on a good path. I have I have a high school degree. I have a graduate certificate in media communications. All the things that I've been doing so far is good, and I just need to work harder, and I just need to manage my energy, because that's the problem with me right now, is because I believe I have undiagnosed anxiety disorder, and I have trouble managing my energy because I guess it's the stuff I eat drowns me out, and I have trouble managing myself. All these Google Drives, I need to manage them more and get them to more work. I know what the problem is with me. I know all of them, and I'm steadily working them out, but I feel like some people just aren't patient with me. And I put pressure on myself, unnecessary pressure, and just unnecessary pressure in order for me to work hard, and I realize that's not working. I need to believe in myself more and to believe that change can happen. Like I said, change can happen now instead of when something bad happens. And I look up jobs all the time based upon my career, from remote to outside my home, but mostly remote because that's right. As of right now, that's the most financial and the most resourceful thing to do. And I do it all the time. And it feels like no matter how much I tell people that I do it, they don't believe me. They don't believe me to a certain extent of I'm doing it every day, or I'm working on it every day. They just don't understand what I'm doing. They don't understand me. And I could try to communicate more, and I want to. But it really feels like no matter what I say, no matter the hints that I give, they always want to push me to a safer direction. And you can't push away my dreams in order for me to be safe. That doesn't make any sense for the long run. You can't be scared to let somebody follow their dreams. But really, I think the thing is that, if you want to take risks, you can't do it in somebody else's household. Or you can't do it when you have a certain stigma or just how people view you. I'm not too sure. But I want to try this. And I realize my mistakes of trying to be like everyone else when it comes down to being my own independent, entrepreneur. I feel like I'm more than a content creator. Because content creators, they just make the same thing over and over again and let people digest it. I want to be something different. I want my products to be used and resourceful to other people. And that's why I just wanted to be. Nobody realizes what I'm doing because it's so new to them. And when I tell them I'm a music producer and I'm an entrepreneur, this is what I mean. It might not mean I get money off the bat, but it's something that I know. There's so many people out there who don't know what to do with their lives. When I was 17, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to have my own business. And I started my Google account thinking about all the stuff that I wanted to do. And it made my grades suffer. I left high school with a 2.5 grade point average just because I knew what I wanted to do when I got out of high school. Especially in that time period of what was going on, I was willing to do everything. I walked to the library every single day just to have computer access and just to experience new things, to sign more applications. I signed, I think it was around 200 applications, and having no experience. And having no experience, I only got one job offering, and that was a job at Longhorns. And I bombed the second interview because I didn't know there was a second interview. I signed 200 applications and got one feedback in the span of like 3 to 5 months maybe. And then bam, Not too long ago, the pandemic happened. So if I got that job, either my job would have been affected or the job would have just dropped me after all that hard work of signing those applications. And that made me realize that people are very situational. They only do things based on situations and don't trust themselves. When something happens, they automatically want to change. They automatically want to change everything instead of keeping a clear head and knowing what to do. That they always do things based upon their situation. And I'm not saying don't be ignorant upon your situation. Work it out. Work it out based upon what it is, but don't completely change your game plan. Because the people that I'm around, highly religious, they're highly religious. They look at news the wrong way and they only look things on a surface level. I'm more of ahead of life than them because I know what's coming, what's trending, and how the world is. Because I keep track of that. And I can't listen to somebody that's so behind on life and I can't listen to people who had their own experiences and don't have the same visions as me. I am an autistic black male. I'm not like everyone else in my family or possibly in my entire hometown. I have to think on my own, and people might look at me as weird or they might not understand what I'm doing. But and when I say people, I just mean like, an anonymous group of people that I just don't want to speak about. And it's a very, very small group. It's not like a bunches of people. It's just a very small group. Very, very small. And I'm not saying that I hate them. They just really don't understand what I'm trying to do. I really want people to trust me. I feel like they trust me, but they trust me to do what they want to do. And I don't want to be around them if they don't trust me. I always think about what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna stay in my hometown or am I gonna leave when everything gets better? Because I just want to be. If I can't be around people that, if I always gonna have to be around people that are scared or paranoid of life and paranoid what I'm gonna do if it fails or not, then I can't be around them. I already have doubts myself. I don't need to have doubts from other people. And they're not doubting me. They're doubting the world and if it's going to adjust for me. I don't expect the world to adjust for me. That's unrealistic. It doesn't have to, but they let the world pressure them. I'm not letting the world pressure me. The world doesn't have to adjust for me, but I'm not letting it pressure me. And if something happens, then I just be accustomed to it, and I have to keep working things out, but not giving up. So many people, they let the world get the best of them, and they gave up, and now they want to try to share that boring lifestyle to the next generation. I can't. Because people are always going to need something. And I need to provide an unlimited resource instead of just a monthly one. And you have to realize that you can get the same thing, money, jobs, and benefits. You can get all that. You can get all the money, jobs, and benefits you want. You can pay your bills. You can pay other people. You can get all that for more than just a job that doesn't treat you well. There are plenty of jobs that treat you well. Even if you have your own job, even if you're an independent entrepreneur, like how I want to be, you can get all that. You can have it all. You can have it all that.